Plato, originally named Aristocles, was one of the most outstanding thinkers in ancient Greek history. He was born into a distinguished noble family, blessed with wealth, a commanding presence, and a robust physique. The name Plato in ancient Greek means broad or wide, a nickname believed to be attributed to his broad shoulders or strong build. From a young age, Plato received a quality education, developing a deep foundation of knowledge. At the age of 20, Plato became a disciple of the great thinker Socrates, who was 62 at the time. Plato held immense respect and loyalty for his mentor Socrates, showing an almost star-like reverence. Plato and his classmates often accompanied the venerable philosopher Socrates through the streets and alleys of Athens, helping to resolve the confusions of passers-by and citizens and spreading their wisdom and thoughts. Plato was born in 427 BC, in an era when Athens was already in decline. At that time, the once glorious Athens, like a fading cloud, was embroiled in chaos and turmoil due to its prolonged struggle for dominance with Sparta. At the young age of 18, Plato personally experienced the brutality of war. He donned his armor and went to the battlefield, only to witness Athens' disastrous defeat. This failure brought deep disillusionment and disappointment to the Athenians, including Plato himself. Plato often discussed with his mentor Socrates, why had powerful Athens gradually declined? Socrates pointed out that the root of the problem lay in Athens' democratic system. Under this political system, uneducated and impulsive citizens participated in governance in turns, while politicians and schemers manipulated public opinion, leading to arbitrary changes and even executions of leaders, ultimately harming the state and its people. Plato was deeply inspired by his teacher's views, but neither of them anticipated that these very ideas would eventually cost Socrates his life. In 399 BC, under the judgment of the Athenian Democrats, Socrates was executed. This event profoundly impacted Plato, leading him to develop a strong aversion to democracy. Driven by these feelings, Plato vowed to explore the most ideal form of state. For this purpose, he embarked on a years-long journey, traveling to various places known to the ancient Greeks, including Sicily in Italy, Egypt, and Crete. This journey brought him a wealth of knowledge and profound contemplation. 12 years later, Plato returned to Athens, now a deeply knowledgeable and profound scholar. Despite his own achievements, he continued to regard Socrates as his supreme spiritual mentor. Plato decided to impart Socrates' thoughts to the younger generation, essentially using Socrates' ideas to promote his own philosophical views. For this purpose, in 387 BC, he founded the academy in a park in Athens, which became the academic center of the city. In the academy, Plato taught students and wrote extensively, influencing countless young scholars, including Aristotle. Plato produced about 40 works in his lifetime, most of which have been preserved. His magnum opus, The Republic, presented through dialogues, outlined his vision of an ideal state and has been regarded as a classic of Western philosophy. Plato believed that the essence of a state lies in its people. Therefore, to establish an ideal state, it was first necessary to cultivate ideal individuals. What then constituted an ideal person? Plato argued that an ideal person should be one whose desires and emotions are guided by knowledge. In an ideal state, those with the greatest knowledge and wisdom should lead. To Plato, such individuals were undoubtedly philosophers. He believed that if philosophers became rulers, political power and wisdom would be perfectly united. Otherwise, the state and even humanity would be perpetually unstable. How then should such ideal rulers be cultivated? Plato proposed that from infancy, children should be considered the property of the state and receive centralized training. In the first 10 years, the focus should be on physical training to build a robust physique, with simple and plain diets to avoid illness. However, a strong body alone was not enough. Children also needed to develop gentle emotions, necessitating the influence of music. But the music should not be overly soft, and its specific selection should be made by professional musicians. Besides music, children should also receive moral education to establish firm beliefs. Those who were eliminated after primary training were destined to be ordinary laborers, while those who passed continued to receive deeper education and training, covering physical, intellectual, and moral aspects. After another 10 years of comprehensive training, a further selection took place, and those not selected became warriors of the state. How then to ensure that those not selected for leadership accept their fate contentedly? Plato suggested that they should be made to understand that their destiny is the will of the gods. He believed that some people are made of gold, naturally destined to be rulers of the ideal state. Others are made of silver, tasked with defending the state, and the rest are made of iron or bronze, whose mission is to support the former two groups through their labor. For those who successfully pass the second selection, approaching their 30s, a deeper level of education awaits. In this phase, they would study philosophy to cultivate wisdom and leadership skills. After 5 years of philosophical education, they would undergo 15 years of practical social experience to withstand various temptations and tests. At the end of this stage, another selection would take place, leaving the elite of the state, who are then prepared for leadership roles. By the time these elites reach the age of 50, they ascend to the position of rulers of the state. However, these rulers would not own any personal property. Like soldiers, they would live communally, sharing food and accommodation. In this state, all boys are regarded as brothers, all girls as sisters, and all children belong to the state. The concept of family is eliminated to eradicate the root of property disputes. In Plato's vision, this system would ensure that every person in the state performs their duty and fulfills their responsibilities, thereby realizing a utopian society on Earth. Indeed, some have questioned the feasibility of Plato's design for an ideal state. To such doubts, Plato responded that although ideal things might not be achievable, it does not mean they are not good. Just like a beautiful painting, although real people might not reach such beauty, who can deny its beauty and value? Plato harbored great hopes for his ideal state. Despite his advanced age, he even journeyed across the sea to Syracuse on the island of Sicily, attempting to persuade the local ruler to implement his ideals. However, he was ultimately arrested by the local government and sold into slavery. Thanks to the generous help of a friend, he was able to buy his freedom and return to Athens. Back in his homeland, Plato continued to teach philosophy at his academy, write works, and gradually established the first extensive system of objective idealism in the history of European philosophy until his death at the age of 80. Plato's life was not only a relentless pursuit of knowledge and wisdom, but also a continuous exploration of an ideal state. Although his concept of an ideal state was not fully realized in reality, his thoughts and theories have left a profound impact on later generations. His system of objective idealism stands as a monument in the history of European philosophy, influencing countless later thinkers and philosophical systems. Plato's story tells us that while ideals may seem distant, it is this pursuit of ideals that drives the progress of human civilization. His life and works continue to inspire us to explore, think, and transcend the limits of reality, seeking higher wisdom and a better world. Thank you for watching. Please continue to follow our channel and see you in our next video.